We step into the world of big dreams, big moves, and big money. It's the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. After 40 years, the Big Cheese remains dedicated to serving the finest Italian dinners, pizza, pasta, subs, and salads. All of their pasta is imported from Italy and cooked fresh every day. Visit BigCheeseMiami.com. Now, let's find out who's the Big Cheese the Miami Hurricanes are working on with insider Manny Navarro.
All right. You know, we figured that we've got an NIL recruiting stuff that we need to talk about.
Yes.
And so what better than the Big Cheese, right? Right next to the University of Miami. And when I told Gary, you know, I told him, look, I got an idea. You know, they're always going after the Big Cheese. They're trying to recruit the Big Cheese. You guys are the Big Cheese. You got to sponsor this NIL and recruiting segment. And Billy, Gary, they loved it. Mm-hmm. And so there you go. If you haven't been to the Big Cheese, by the way, which is an institution, they only use Baccio mozzarella from Wisconsin, the best and most expensive available in the country. Their flour is made using only the trump of the wheat, and their pear tomatoes are the finest available and sent from the best farms in the San Joaquin Valley in California. And all their pasta is imported from Italy, and it's cooked fresh every single day. So if you wonder for over 40 years how they maintain the quality, that's because they go to the best parts of the world in order to make the best pasta. And, of course, Manny, those garlic breads. Oh, shit, those garlic breads.
Brother, you've got me starving. I'm going to have to swing by the Big Cheese like I always do early in the season to get myself those garlic rolls and a slice of pizza because it's just too good. You've got to dig into that stuff. It's just always the best. And so I'm looking forward to my usual trip right around the start of camp to the Big Cheese.
Yes, exactly. So check out the Big Cheese. Tell them that the Big O sent you, by the way. We're going to be broadcasting in October. We haven't set the date yet because we've also got travel and all that. So we got to make sure we get it done. But we will be there in October for a date. We want to get a lot of you out there in the afternoon, have some fun. We're going to have some giveaways. I'm going to give away some Big O shirts. Maybe we'll get some Caneswear gift cards. Big Cheese is going to give away some gift cards. So it's going to be a whole thing. So we'll have some fun. And if Manny's around there, we'll have his segment live there that day or something. Okay. We'll do something like and lunch is on us, Manny, when you're
all right.
Okay.
I'm definitely making you buy me a slice of that pizza, brother.
Oh yeah. No. We had it when we started the platform. Yes. The Big Cheese, but then we had, unfortunately, something called the pandemic. So that kind of got in the way there. So it's good to get them back and joining us during the Cane season here. All right, so let's get into a Big Cheese that the Hurricanes are trying to flip a 3-star recruit. Talk to me.
Yeah, I'm not going to give his name away. I am not going to give his name away. I promised him that because there will be an announcement sometime here soon. But he is an elite defensive lineman, a guy here in South Florida who is committed elsewhere, 6'4", 295 pounds. A guy who was headed to the Big Ten Conference and basically went to Miami last week, attended their off-season barbecue, worked out in front of the coaches, and immediately drew an offer from them. And I know the coaching staff is super excited. I talked to this young man today. Broward County had their high school media day, and I got a chance to sit there and talk to him and his coach and a couple of his teammates. And he's supposed to be announcing a flip sometime soon. So a big pickup for Miami, a guy who would become the second defensive lineman in this class. They've got 19 commitments right now, the number 10 ranked class. He would move them up a spot to 9th in the rankings. And a guy that, look, they've recruited the defensive line position really, really well. But this is a young man who I think is probably a little underrated. He didn't go to a lot of camps in the preseason, so that affected his ranking. But Miami's all over him now. And I can tell you, he told me he grew up a huge fan. He was a running back growing up. He played running back in Pop Warner ball. And 5'11", 200 plus, gets to high school, grows 5 inches and gains almost 60-something pounds. and is now a
Derrick Henry. What the hell's wrong with him? Come on, bro. He can be Derrick Henry part two.
Yeah, I know, but he likes playing defensive line. He loves hitting people, and so that will happen sometime soon.
All right. NIL deals are kind of interesting. I know that you spoke to an FSU recruit. Talk to me a little bit. Give us some insight on NIL deals.
Yeah, well, first of all, the rules in the state just changed for high school football players here at the end of July, which allows high school football players to sign NIL deals and to uh, basically start profiting off their name, image, and likeness. Now, they cannot do any of it with school paraphernalia on. I think if they do, they can get themselves suspended for the season. So they got to be very careful about how they promote things. But this young man, Zay Thomas, who is actually, it's a really interesting story, and something I'm going to write for The Athletic, but he is of Seminole Indian descent, and his grandparents actually own a very big PR company here that basically runs public relations for a lot of the Indian-led businesses in America, and so including the Hard Rock. And so he was talking to me today. He said he had 7 different agencies reach out to him shortly before he committed to Florida State when they knew the NIL rules were changing. He picked one. He's got one person who represents him now, but he's got all kinds of deals. He's got a jewelry deal. He's working on getting a car deal. Zay Thomas, 4-star cornerback at American Heritage, the guy I'm talking about. He's gonna. What was the other deal he told me earlier today? I'm trying to remember everything from our conversation. Jewelry, car, and then of course, the Seminole Tribe with Hard Rock. He's gonna probably end up having a deal with them as well. And so it fascinates me how much this thing has grown over time. NIL, like we were so worried about it. What's it gonna do to the locker room in college? Well, now you're dealing with it at the high school level, and I think it's fascinating how quickly this thing has spread even to the high school level. Imagine being 17, 18 years old and you've got 7 different agents calling you saying, we want to represent you, and having to negotiate a deal before you even graduated high school.
I'm happy for them in a sense. I know some people will be jealous, but for, half a century now, you've been abusing these kids and making all kinds of money, and everybody's making all kinds of money. And you don't really care if they study or they get a degree, and they don't care if they study or get a degree. They want to play football. And so you're making money off of them. They should get something out of this. So I don't, I don't have a problem with this, man, because you've been taking advantage of these individuals forever. I'm glad they're able to take advantage, because this might be the only money that they make. Because if they think they're just pros and then they find out they don't make it to the pros, like so many before, they had lint in their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got a chance to at least have something. And by the way, get your opportunity to learn business, learn about having money, how to manage it, all those kind of things. These are lessons you can learn, because if you do become a pro, you're now going to have lessons that you had that in the past, those people never had those lessons that would have helped them out too.
Yeah, you're right. And I think, Xavier's a really smart kid, goes to American Heritage, has good people around him, has a lot of smart business people around them. The ones I worry about are the kids that don't. Diab Bell is another one who's got an NIL deal. It's going to be with a card company. There's a couple of card companies vying for him. He's the son of Raja Bell, who played in the NBA.
Okay.
I've talked about him before in the past. He's committed to Texas. He's going to go play quarterback at Texas. He also goes to American Heritage. He told me that initially some of the companies that came after him were like, well, we want 20% of your NIL deals. And thankfully his father played in the NBA and had to negotiate deals, right? And had an agent. So he's got access to people, smart business people, so he doesn't get taken advantage of. But you can't say the same for everybody else. So you can't say the same for a lot of regular other high school kids who may be approached for NIL deals and by agents, and who knows what they're signing away. So, but today I did have some interesting conversations with those 2 kids who I mentioned, Diab Bell and Zay Thomas, and high school NIL. It's come. God knows there's certainly a lot of college NIL and a lot of interesting news and notes on that down the road that we'll discuss.
Well, Simeon Barrow and Tyler Barron also signed with the Miami Collective recently too, right?
Yes, the Miami Collective has been busy picking guys up left and right, making sure that those guys are taken care of. And the one thing I got to say, you and I have talked about this many, many times. John Ruiz, the role that he sort of played in establishing, Miami's collective. He was at the root of all this for Miami. Getting the Canes connection off the ground. Now those guys basically operate without him. They've got their own thing going, and all of these guys are they're signed. They're making good money. They're well taken care of. I asked Mario Cristobal in Charlotte when I was with him up at the ACC preseason media stuff. I said, "So are we ever going to find out how much the payroll really is for NIL?" He says, "Y'all have no idea, brother. You'll have no idea. It's one that we'll keep in house." But my estimates, from working at The Athletic and working with guys like Chris Vanini and Sam Kahn and some of the great national reporters, Bruce Feldman, we all think, Ohio State, Texas, Georgia, those NIL collectives are all spending between 20 to 25 million a year on these rosters to maintain players and keep them happy. And that's a number that's only going to grow with time, and we will see how it works out. But yes, the Canes connection is taking care of guys, and I know that they're going to have their own sort of TV show now with Cam Ward that'll be coming. That's something they tweeted about yesterday. Cam Ward will have a little TV show, and he was just named ACC Preseason Player of the Year. So more opportunities to market themselves, more opportunities to make money. Cam Ward will be very busy besides playing quarterback. He'll have a TV show too.
Well, folks, I can guarantee you won't need the budget from the Miami Collective to go to the Big Cheese. Okay?
No, it won't cost you 20 to 25 million.
No, the garlic rolls, the Big Cheese Supreme, it doesn't matter, the Meat Lovers Pizza, whatever it is you're going to get, the appetizers, the calamari, all that stuff. You won't need that kind of money. It's a great budget, amazing food, and welcome aboard again to Gary and Billy. Welcome back, as they are now great sponsors of our NIL and recruiting report. Follow my man Manny on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. And of course, make sure you subscribe to The Athletic. Manny, as always, my brother, thank you. Have a fantastic weekend. And we'll go over our next Big Cheese NIL and recruiting report next Friday, my man. Thank you.
Look forward to it, brother. Talk soon.
You got it. There you go. Manny Navarro.
You've been listening to the Big Cheese Miami Recruiting and NIL Report with Manny Navarro. At the Big Cheese Miami, they continue to purchase the same high-quality ingredients that the most expensive Italian restaurants use. The difference is they serve large portions at a family price. Visit the Big Cheese at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue in Miami. Call 305-662-6855 or go to thebigcheesemiami.com. Go Canes!